It has been a cold week in Lake Wobegon, the kind of week that makes you long for the milder weather of fall when the air is crisp and clean and not so bitter. Down at the sidetrack tap, Earl Smith said that it was so cold that when he went out to his outhouse last night to relieve himself, he had to kick on the hole in the air before he could take care of business. But for the most part, Lake Wobegon took the winter with a grim, quiet determination. But to get their minds off the cold, Earl recounted the 1943 Halloween tale of the Harlan twins' trick on Ollie Krepsbach. Ollie had once chased the 8-year-old twins out of his backyard when they were reenacting a bank robbery shoot-'em-up. Ollie had forgotten all about it, but the twins, now 14, had not. At 14, the twins still went out to trick-or-treat on Halloween, but they had mostly grown out of the treat part and were now focused mostly on the tricks. This year they had decided that they really only needed one trick target, and that target was Ollie Krepsbach. The moon was full this Halloween, and the air was indeed crisp and clean. It really was an inspired plan. Ollie lived next to the railroad track. His outhouse was only about 10 yards from the track's edge. Wally Harlan had hatched the plan about a week earlier. His twin brother Lyle had agreed at once and had found the necessary supplies. They had planned it carefully. At 10:05, the northbound through Lake Wobegon had the kind of reputation for being on schedule that people often sat their watches by it in the evening. The train did not make a stop in Lake Wobegon and always flashed through at about 50 miles per hour. The Harlan twins had scouted the situation carefully. On Halloween, the twins took up their positions in the bushes about 40 yards from Ollie's back door. They had a good view of Ollie's back door and his outhouse. Sound traveled well on this cool and quiet evening. At 9:55, Wally looped a cable that Lyle had procured around the base of the outhouse and pulled the other end across the railroad track. Lyle was keeping watch on Ollie's back door and window. By 10 o'clock, Wally had tied off the end of the cable to a tree on the other side of the track so that the cable was about 4 feet above the tracks. Wally returned to the lookout post and waited with Lyle. Soon they could hear the whistle of the Tona 5. It was approaching Lake Wobegon. The whistle was getting louder and louder, and the twins were getting all excited about watching the tipping of Ollie's outhouse. About then, Ollie's back door opened, and the twins hunkered down a bit in the lookout in the bushes so that they wouldn't be seen. This wasn't expected. They had not seen Ollie come out of his house after 9:30 when they'd done their scouting. They could see Ollie walking towards the railroad tracks. Had he spotted them? The train was almost in town now. Ollie didn't go to the railroad track, and he did not see the cable as he opened the door to his outhouse and stepped inside. The twins were horrified and went running towards the outhouse, shouting at the top of their lungs, "Get out! Get out!" But it was too late. When the twins were about 20 yards from the outhouse, the train hit the cable, and the outhouse disintegrated around Ollie. The twins looked at each other, frozen in place. They didn't know whether to run away or to go check on Ollie. About that time, they heard sounds coming from the pit under the outhouse. Soon Ollie appeared, and he kept mumbling, "Nasty, nasty, nasty." Well, as word spread around town, from that night on, Ollie was known as Nasty Krepsbach. Everyone in the sidetrack tap got a good chuckle out of the story. And a few minutes later, the door to the sidetrack opened and let in a blast of the cold air. Ollie Krebsbach came into the sidetrack, and the whole place was straining under the emotion, trying to hold the Snickers in. Ollie knew from the atmosphere that someone had told the story, but by now he knew better than to complain about it. He decided just to go straight for the bar for some peanuts. But before he got there, Earl called him over to the table in the corner. No one said a word about nasty, just that it sure was cold out there. Well, that's the news from Lake Wobegon, where the women are strong, the men are good-looking, and all the children are above average.